Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara. Guru Sakshat Parabrahmam Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Smadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Paramparam. Saknavavadu Sakanopunattu Sakaviryam Karavavakai Tejasvinavadidamastumavat Vishalakai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Yogena Chittasya Patena Vacham Malam Sarirasya Cha Vaityakena Yopa Karottam Pravaram Munina Patanjali Pranjali Manatosmi. Good morning. We are seeing the Sanadana Dharma's master in cultivating the mind is Patanjali. The second chapter, Sadhana Padam, we saw the first sutra in the last session. We also understand the context why we do the second chapter. Because in the first chapter, the Samadhi Pada, if you forget all this sutra, at least the three you should remember. Yoga's Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the control of the vacillation of the mind, Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And because a controlled mind, a tranquil mind, a truth-bearing mind gives you the Radambra Jnanam, which is important for our happiness and liberation. We ask the question, how to attain that? The other sutra to remember is Abhyasa Vairagyabhyam Tannirodhaka. To attain that, you need Abhyasam and Vairagyam. Abhyasam is the practice. Vairagyam is a very dedicated dispassion towards the goal. And then the third sutra to remember, to go through this process, the pursuit, and to avoid any impediments, you need to call upon the God, Ishvara Pranidhanatva. So if you have all your actions, all your dhyanams, all your karmas, everything you do in the presence of God, which means Ishwararpanam, then you achieve the Chitta Vritti Nirodha. And then we've gone through all those benefits of it. But then we are stuck because this simple technique of Abhyasa Vairagyam is monumental for us because we have no dispassion, no Vairagyam. We can't practice it. Therefore, Patanjali started Sadhana Padam and say, right, now I would start in a process in which you convert your life of action. Life is full of action, right? The life of action to become a yoga. And he starts with a very beautiful first sutra. We recite once, we can come back and to the background of the text that we studied in the last class in the summary, and then we do Sutra 2, 3, and 4 today. Okay. Tapaha Swadhya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriyayoga. You can recite once.
Tapaswadhyaya Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriyayoga.
So here we have the important word was the Kriyayoga. We saw that in the last session and we compared that with Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is the process of doing action where you bring in right action with the right attitude. The right action is that are righteous. We know what action we do in our life, in a Laukika life. They have to be virtuous and right. In addition to that, the Vedas gives us Vidita Karma, what you need to do every day. Like Panchamaha Yagyam, Dhanam, Yagyam, Nishida Karma, things that you should not do. prayachita karma. If you make a mistake, how do you correct it? So we saw all that in Vedanta session. So doing the right karma is one thing. That doesn't make it as a karma yogam. You must have the right attitude. So the attitude is a bhavana. What is the attitude that we need? We need three parts of the attitude. The first part is, before doing any action, I am the adhikari of the action. I have the right and privilege to embark upon the action. I can decide not to do it. I can decide to do it. I can decide to do this way or that way. So all the decision-making process, coming to a decision that I shall do this task, is our right and our privilege. So we have an attitude towards deciding to do an action. There ends our right. Because once it is done, the action started, the outcome comes from the consequences of so many variables. Therefore, we said the attitude should be Ishwararpanam is the way we do things, and Ishwara Prasadam is how we receive the outcome. So the attitude is therefore, everything I do is in the name of God. Everything I face, experience in life is as a prasadam of Ishwara. And if we have the attitude, anything that we do becomes a karma yoga. Okay, this is again eloquently put by Bhagavan in so many words, the chapters of Bhagavad Gita. We are happy to take the right action because we are luckily born of good family, parents teach, friends teach, satsangam teach. We know what is right and wrong. Morality exists. So right action is generally not a problem. Right attitude is a problem. The attitude is not something which I learn in the school. It comes from the samskaras. Nobody teaches a child to steal or to lie, but they lie, they steal. So therefore, this is the inborn tendency for me to not to be righteous in all the time. Therefore, the right attitude, I need to be developing it. Therefore, for the karma yoga, I lack a technique to perfect my attitude. Then comes the Kriyayoga. The Kriyayoga is therefore the action that you need to do to perfect your attitude. So therefore, very clearly, Kriyayoga is not your laukika action, not doing charity, not doing all those things. They are good things. For Kriyayoga is your internal actions. Sometimes you use your body as an external action in yogas, but everything is oriented towards perfecting your attitude to life. And he said, tapas swadhyaya ishvara pranidhanani kriya yoga. So you do that kriya yoga, you have three parts. Actually, it's all one part, tapas. The tapas becomes a tapas in the body, kayika tapas. It is about austerities and fastings and punishing your body in a way. Punishing means depriving of the body not to fall as a victim to the tamas and rajas. Too much of food is becoming a victim of tamas. So you reduce your food intake. Like that, we saw all those things. So kayika tapas and vachika tapas is tapas in your words, in your writing, in your messaging, in talking, verbalized action. You can very easily hurt somebody by what you say or not say. So therefore, control of your words. All these are common sense, but here we are doing it with the purpose of making our attitude better. Now, besides having good words, hitam, satyam, ritam, you also do swadhyayam, self-study, understanding the true nature of oneself. And to do that, you study from the teacher, recite Vedas, mantras, good literatures. So all that going towards self-realization. And of course, Ishvara. So we saw all those things in the last class. Now, this looks like a behavior change in my life, attitude. This I can accept it because I can take a step increase. But if I do Kriyayoga, what is the benefit I get? What's the purpose of it? So this he goes in the next sutra. We recite once and then we go to the meaning. Samadhi bhavanartha artha
Samadhi bhavanartha
klesha tanukarana arthascha.
klesha tanukaranarthascha.
Samadhi bhavanartha klesha tanukarana arthascha.
Samadhi bhavanartha klesha tanukaranarthascha.
So here the cha is the preposition which conjunction which joins two things like and, sometimes also. So here he says cha, that means he is giving two purposes. Samadhi bhavana artha. That's one. Klesha tanukarana arthascha. The second one. So samadhi bhavanam. Samadhi, you know, we learned samadhi is tranquil mind, the maturity of dhyana, the state of being peaceful and calm. Bhavana means, here bhavana means utpatti, creation, attainment, reaching. So samadhi bhavana means to be in a tranquil state of mind, bringing about that state of mind. Artha means the purpose of that. So therefore, the prayojanam of Kriya Yoga is samadhi. Well, that is the prayojanam of yoga. Therefore, here yoga chitta vritti nirodham. So Kriya Yoga will lead to samadhi. Therefore, this samadhi bhavanam happens, which means everything that we learned in the chapter 1 becomes possible for us. So this becomes a goal, a potential goal, a long-term goal, a lasting goal of Kriya Yoga. But this is very clear. This is what we asked for. But then he says, klesha, klesha means afflictions. Tanukarana arthasya. Tanukaranam means making it weaker, diluting it, attenuating it, modulating it. You know, if I am obese and if I go to the gym, what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to slim down, tanukaranam. If you have in a laboratories, you got a hydrochloric acid and you want to dilute it before you pour into the pest, you do tanukaranam of the acid. Tanukaranam means making it weaker, attenuated, diluted. So klesha tanukaranam means the kleshas, afflictions, are weakened by the Kriya Yoga. Now this is an immediate benefit. So the long-term benefit is samadhi. The immediate benefit is klesha tanukarana. Why this is needed? Because you remember that in yoga, in the chapter 1, you read klishtaha, klishtaha. Vritti is that which gives you distress and grief, and that which does not. Therefore, Patanjali said, therefore, the method of abhyasam is to reduce and remove the klishtaha vritti, thoughts that gives to distress. Klishtaha vritti is caused by the klesham. Klesham means afflictions, distressful, grieving, causing the grief. So all that we saw. So here, therefore, Kriya Yoga, so therefore we can say, to get a samadhi, I need to have the klesham to be removed. To remove the klesham, I have to use Kriya Yoga. So if you use Kriya Yoga, my klesha pariyandam, all the vrittis will be weakened. Naturally, I become a yogi, I get samadhi. So that's a meaning of this. So the yoga of action is for attenuating the affliction and therefore bringing the samadhi bhavan. So we have clarity. This is an assurance that therefore you take Kriyayoga. So we are sold. So we are going to take up Kriyayoga. Now, what is this klesha? So we saw that, of course, Patanjali did not elaborate in the chapter 1, but I brought this particular sutra in the session, if you remember. We talked about the Pancha Klesha. So Patanjali is going to now elaborate it very detailedly. So we'll see. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhiniveshaha, Pancha Kleshaha. Okay. So here, Pancha Kleshaha, the 5 kleshas are that we need to know. Pancha means 5, klesha means affliction. And what are these 5? Avidya. Avidya means the science. It is darkness. It is ignorance. It is ajnanam. See, vidya means knowing. Vidya means not knowing. Therefore, it can be taken as ignorance, not knowing something. Ajnanam. But Patanjali is going to use it in a second meaning, which is viparita jnanam. Not only you do not know, but you know it wrongly, which is more dangerous, right? So if I imagine that the dark figure that is coming there is my friend, I go and try to embrace him, but it is a big buffalo, for example. It's going to kick me out. Viparita jnanam. So avidya is both ajnanam and viparita jnanam. So we are going to learn more about it. He's going to explain to us. Second is Asmita. Asmita means, we saw before, Asmi means I am. Asmita means the I amness, that the feeling of, the thought of, a notion of being the self, egoism. I say false notion here, because Asmita doesn't say false, but Asmita is just egoism, but we know it's a false notion. He's talking about identifying yourself with the personality that you carefully cultivate. So the personality change, right? So every time we associate with this personality, the angry personality, happy personality, So the identification of us with that personality is Asmita. Raga, Dvesha. There are 3 and 4. 3 is Raga, 4th is Dvesha. Raga means attachment, likes and dislikes. Dvesha is dislike, aversion, in a way enmity, distaste. So the Raga, Dvesha come in a pair, likes and dislike, attachments and aversions. 9 out of 10 times, our thoughts are based on either because we like something or not liking something. Very seldom, statistically, very seldom, our thoughts are in a mode of ragadvesham without ragadvesham. It's always a ragadvesham. I like it or I don't like it. So this is the majority part of our kleshavritti hedu. Then you have abhinivesha. Abhinivesha means the love of life, holding on to the life, or a fear of death, whichever way you put it. So again, we are going to learn what it is actually means. So Panchaklesam is avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. Now you can think about all these things yourselves. Do I have those 5? Yes, you have. Yes, I have. So these 5 are inherently driving our life, creating thoughts, creating actions, and putting us into misery. So Patanjali says, know these 5 kleshas. How are they operating it? What are they in fact? How do I remove them? So this question comes in in the next sutras. So he says, what is the root of these 5 kleshas? He's going to take in this sutra a very specific role for avidya. So he says, avidya kshetram uttaresham prasupta tanu vichinna udarana. So avidya kshetram uttaresham prasupta tanu vichinna udarana. What does he mean by this? Avidya kshetram uttaresham. So of these 5 kleshas, he picks up the avidya. Avidya is what? Avidya is both ignorance and wrong understanding. Viparita jnanam and ajnanam. So he says, this avidya, this science, this darkness, is the kshetram. Kshetram means, in Sanskrit, kshetram means a ground where things grow. Kshetram. Kshetram where the paddy grows, wheat grows, plants grow, thought grows, gunas grows, virtuous things grows. Punya kshetram, punyam grows. Wherever you go and that punyam comes in, the punya kshetram. So it is not a dead place, it's a fertile place. So the avidya is a fertile place. That means it is nurturing, creating, operating other things to follow. Uttaresham. Uttaresham means all others that follow, everything else. What are those things here? Asmita, ragadvesha, abhinivesha. The other 4 kleshas. We can also take for other means, for others like us, for the non-yogis. For those, the avidya is dominant factor. So avidya being a fertile land, it is creating what? These 4. Asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. So if you have raga, dvesha, like and dislike, you can very easily say it is growing because you have avidya. So in Vedanta, we always say everything says avidya, avidya, avidya. I said, what is this avidya? Viparita jnanam. So my child, not respecting me, I got hurt. I am grieving. Yes, avidya. I won a lot of money, I am happy, joyful, fine, avidya. Why is avidya? Because the raga dvesha, or even I say I did it, the asmita, or I am afraid of my death, the fear, all that comes from avidya, because all this thing happening, the good and bad and happiness and sadness, all that is happening not to you. What do you mean by this? My child scolded me, it is to me. Because I put myself as the asmita, I am the person. Therefore, I suffer this consequence. The moment you take ownership of it, you feel the consequences. So therefore, I don't fully understand right now, but I take it from here, the logic of it. Asmita, ragadvesha, and abhinivesha, all that is nourishing in the field of avidya. Okay. Then he says, how are they nourishing it? If you take a plant, for example, if you see an apple tree in the garden, apple tree is just fruiting right now. Or maybe a tomato, whatever the plant you put in there. At some stage, it was just a seed. Is it not? A tomato is just a seed. It has nothing to do, it can't give you anything. But then you put on a fertile land, a sapling comes in, a little sapling comes in. Again, it doesn't give you tomatoes. It's useless, harmless maybe, useless. It's just coming out, a sapling. Then it is growing. It has come 1 foot. But you put that inside the house, there's no sunlight. Or you are traveling, or you are like me, you don't water the plants regularly. It is sagging. So it is grown up, it's got all the potency there. It is reverberating that what it can potentially give you. Even the flowers come in, but it is dying because it is not well nourished, it is curtailed. And then it grows and it gives you the tomatoes. You see, and the example I give you because I want to explain the technical term, but Patanjali uses. So anything on the fertile land that is going to cause trouble or create an impact to us, a benefit or whatever, we may see that in at least 4 stages. Stage where it is completely dormant, avyaktam, unmanifested in a seed form, or it is just coming out, or it is come out but it is not giving out the results because it's got the impediments, or it is really fruiting. So this says, first word, prasupta. Prasupta means dormant state, dominant, dormant state, sleeping state. Supta means falling asleep, prasupta. Even before the sleep, you've just gone into that state of dumbness, dullness. This is prasupta. Tanu means tenuous, it's just growing, sapling, it come out, it break open, it manifests. Tanu. Vichina, now you know it. Vichina means it has grown up, but it is not actually giving its full potential, curtailed. Sunlight is not there, water is not there, fertilizer is not there. It's just a plant that exists for the namesake. Udharana means it is now fully blown. It is bearing the fruits. See, this is Sutra, therefore we need to really connect all those things. What it means is, avidya is a field. In the field, uttaresham, everything else grows. Asmita, ragadvesha, abhinivesha grows. Now our plan is to remove them, nullify them, right? But it says, avidya is helping them to grow in all its 4 stages. When it is dormant, when it is tanu, vichindam, udharanam. I'll give an example, will help you out. Say, take raga, for example, or dvesha, whichever is dvesha, for example. So, how it goes in first. So, I work for my boss, and he's a tough taskmaster. He's unreasonable to me. He's telling me off. My hate and everything is brewing in me. Can I kick him off? No. Why? Because I depend on this job. I need him to support me. But I don't like him. Dvesha. But what do I do with this dvesha? Vichina. It's curtailed. It is bottled in my heart because the conditions are not right for me. Or same dvesha, for example. I go to a meeting or I go to the hall and I see somebody. Instantly, I feel an aversion to the person. This cannot happen unless you have the aversion inside you as a tanu or even a prasupta state. Well, we can discuss it later, how that aversion comes in there, maybe samskaras, we don't know. Or you are in a good mood, now you are giving charity, giving help others, seva, udaranam. See, all your actions, therefore, are in a dormant state, which you don't even know in your mind that you have that. I never know that I'm afraid of this, because the fear was prashupta. Or you know it, but it is not really a bother. The phobia is there. If you have water phobia, you don't have that coming out unless you see the water. The water comes in with chinnaga. Oh, water. But you don't scream because you see everybody around you with chinnaga. But somebody drags you to the water, you shout. You see, simple example to understand this four state. Therefore, we have all these four states. So Patanjali says, avidya is the cause of all those things. Okay. Now tell me what is actually avidya. So he says now, avidya he defines anitya, asuchi, dukkha, anatmasu, nitya, suchi, sukha, atmakyadi, avidya. Anitya suchi, dukkha nitya suchi, sukhatmakyadi, avidya. It's a very simple sutra, long sutra, but simple, but very logical sutra. So avidya is defined in so many different ways. Vedanta also we define avidya, but there's no contradiction. What is he saying? He's saying, before he goes to avidya, he is going to tell you a few words. Vidya is knowing, right? Knowing is knowing things around you. Knowing the world of objects. Therefore, he is throwing few words now. Anitya, ephemeral, non-eternal, temporal, things that doesn't last. Asuchi. Asuchi means impure, dirty, filthy. So you can see in your mind, you already don't like to deal with anything anitya, anything impure. You don't want that. Anything sorrowful. You don't want that. So now take a step back. With my knowledge, all the knowledge I get, what do I deal with in this world? I deal with the world. I deal with things, my family, my satsang, my books, my office, my work, my food. In this, I have sukha dukkhams coming through. So I deal with objects. So therefore, Patanjali throws another word, anatmasu. This is a vibhakti there, anatma. Anatmasu means in all these things. Anatma means that which is not you. Well, I deal with myself and I deal with something not myself. When I say this, I say with a very partial knowledge. When I say I deal with myself, I mean when I am having my bath or when I'm wearing my shirt. Anything I do with my body and mind. Because my body and mind are me. That's why I'm thinking right now. But anything other than me is you, that person, this person, that house. Everything's anatma. Now Patanjali says, all these are one and the same. Anityam, asuchi, dukkham, anatmasu. Anything that is not you, that you deal with, is non-eternal. Well, I know this. Everything is going away. But I have to deal with this. Yes. Asuchi. Well, I don't like impurity. I don't go into the gutter. I don't have a bath in the gutter. I take pure water. Fine. We always try to be purifying our atmosphere. But here the asuchi is a lot more than that. You yourself is impure. I am impure. If I peel my skin off and blood, phlegm, and all this kind of things that you don't want to touch it, see it. So I am a very well bundled, manicured asuchi. Dukkha. Everything is dukkha. Even happiness is dukkha, because when I'm enjoying something, I'm worried about it's going to go. Stress built in. And it's gone, I have dukkha. Why do we say dukkha specifically, not sukha? Because we're going to learn about it as well. He's going to define what is sukha and dukkha is. So nobody goes to the doctor and say, look, something wrong with me. I'm feeling extremely happy every day. Please fix me. You don't say that because you think it's natural for you. But that's the truth. Because it is natural, that is not an issue to be rid of. You can't even get rid of it. You will be purely happy. But anything else that comes from anatmasu will be dukkha. Okay, he gave all these words, random words, and we built some connections there. And he gives opposites now. Very easy to understand. Nitya, eternal. What's the next word? You know it. Suchi, pure. Dukkha means sukha. Anatma means atma. Atmasu. So things that are anityam, impure, sorrowful, not self, and eternal, pure, joyful self. Are there two different things in this world? See, words cannot exist without objects there. There's non-eternal means there must be an eternal. Impure means there must be a pure. Sorrow means there is a joy. Non-self means there's a self. Now, the question is, what are you dealing with? And how are you dealing with? That's the question. Well, you may have to deal with both part of it. But if you have to deal with both part, what becomes how? How are you dealing with asuchi? How are you dealing with anitya? So this is Vedanta. The world is full of anitya, asuchi, dukkha, anatmasu. I have to deal with the world. But I am being told atmasu is nitya, asuchi, sukham. That is vidya, that is Sri Vidya. Therefore, here we are talking about avidya. So what is avidya is khyadihi avidya. What khyadihi? Anatmasu khyadihi avidya. Anitya nitya khyadihi avidya. So if you take the nitya and take it as anitya, you take anitya as nitya. Somebody is inventing a medicine, a pill apparently in US, which will prolong this body for thousands of years. Why? Because he thinks there is a logic in the body decaying because it doesn't have the right nutrition. So if I can manage that well, I can be nitya. So his buddhi, nidya buddhi is in anitya vastu. Shankara makes it very simple. He says, anatmani atma buddhi is avidya. Atmani anatma buddhi avidya. What is eternal, if you think it is non-eternal, or what is non-eternal, if you think eternal, that is avidya. What is impure, if you think it's pure, it's avidya. What is sorrowful, if you think it is joyful, it's avidya. What is non-self, if you think it is self, it's avidya. But if I put it like this, nobody wants to go to the left side. How can I ever accept something impure as pure? I'm an educated person. If you give me a bucket full of obscene gutter items, I would say it's impure. I know it. Well, you know that one very well. But what about this body of yours? Well, is it impure? Yes, it is impure. That's why you have your natural call every time. Sweat, phlegm, urinate. Well, I have to deal with this. Good answer. So your knowledge is therefore not taking it as suchi. No matter how much I dressed up, how much of powder or makeup I do, I know it is impure. Therefore, It's not that I'm going to mishandle it or throw it away. No, I will handle it. But my effort will be to see as much I can purify them. Kaya tapas, vachika tapas, manasika tapas. But I will know, because this is non-eternal, anything non-eternal will be impure. These are the inferences you must draw. Everything non-eternal will be sorrowful. Everything non-self is non-eternal. This is Vedanta. How can you say non-eternal? I'll be dead. I'll be, a few years' time, I'm not there. I'm gone. But I'm gone for who? I'm gone for you. For you, I am not there. For you, I am dead. For me, how do you know I'm dead? For me, how am I know I'm dead? I can never know death. Please note this one. You never die. You will never know death. We're going to learn about it later. Therefore, logically also you can see, I'm never changing. Nobody accepts I change. Well, you go and look at your photo album, you changed. Yeah, my beard become, white and my body become weak. I'm exactly the same person. Nobody will accept they changed. Everybody will accept they go through modification in the body and mind. So therefore, you yourself know you are eternal. Nobody will say you are impure. I am impure. But my body is impure. My mind is impure. I am like a child. I could be like a child, pure. Nobody is ever sorrowful. If everybody is sorrowful, you will never come out of deepest sorrow, which is death, right? I remember crying for my mother's death. Now, if you ask me, okay, can you please show me how you cried? Can I cry? No. What happened? Was my cry falsified? Was I not truthful to myself? Yes, I was. I was ignorant. I thought that body was eternal. It is not. Now I don't cry. Well, now if somebody cries, okay, I may shed a tears. See why? Even dukkha goes away because we know naturally nobody dies. So sorrow is our selfish motive because I don't have the person around me to caress, fondle, to abuse, to beat, to be with. Well, I'm not saying that we should not be feeling so sad about it. We had to have all the emotions, but we know we are not thinking right there. That is avidya. So the definition, therefore, I will not dwell too much deep into this because we'll be talking about it all the time. So avidya is therefore having a viparita jnanam on what is the right thing. Please understand, we have to have this viparita jnanam sometime. Sun rises in the east. Yes, it's a viparita jnanam. Sun never rises in the east. But I use it. I got a rhythm prada jnanam. I have the rhythm. I understand how the truth about the truth. But I will handle it very differently. So this is all knowledge of this avidya. Okay. What is Asmita? So he says, Drik darshana satyor ekatmat eva asmita. Drik darshana satyor ekatmat eva asmita. So I think before I dwell into this one, so what he's saying is, Drik darshana satyor. Remember, Asmita comes from where? Avidya. Therefore, he is saying, Drik darshana So to define Asmita is going roundabout way. We will reach that destination. The knowledge that you get about seeing things, perception, seeing, hearing, everything, has to come from where? Avidya, because avidya is the only domain we are operating on. Therefore, he's saying the avidya confuses you in you making a misassumption, wrong assumption, that I am the seeing or I am the seeing. So he's used two words, drig and darshana. Drig means one who sees, the seer. Now, there's a grantha which I wanted us to study sometime, but maybe we can do some stage. The Bharati Tirtha is a great jnani who is the guru of Vidyadit, Vidyaranya. Vidyaranya is as you know, is a great author of Panchatasi and all that great granthas, who was the contemporary of Vedanta Deshika. Vedanta Deshika was a great scholar of Vaishnava philosophy. So Vidyaranya guru is Bharati Tirtha, who was a Sringeri Mutt's head. And he wrote Drigdrishya Viveka. Viveka means what? Discriminated knowledge. So I will not go too deep into this, but I just wanted to bring back what we talked in the Vedanta session to understand the Sutra well. So we talk about seeing the world, right? So remember we studied in the Vedanta, awareness is such an innate nature of us. Everything else is built on awareness. If you are not aware of certain things, it doesn't exist for you. Like a Schindler's cat. In your world, what you do not aware of do not exist. Drishtandam is sleep. Sleep is what? Sleep, we don't know anything, but potentially gave us clarity there. It's not that you become inactive. Your mind is always active. But there, inaction is simulated by an action of spreading a vritti called nidra. The chit, the light is consciousness is ever present in you. You are forever aware, forever never sleep, forever awakened, forever sukha, Satchit Ananda. But nothing is visualized on the mind because there's a nidra vritti is covering it up. Let's take the case where you are getting up in the morning. Yeah, let's say for unconventionally, I'm getting up at 4:30. Let's take that example there. What happened is, the nidra vritti, when it's removed, with the light of chit, my consciousness, my awareness, animate the buddhi. Di means the light. Buddhi is the prakriti in the most subtlest form. In the cosmic way, it's Mahat. In our microcosmic way, it is the buddhi, the most subtlest form of anatma, maya, prakriti is buddhi. You get animated. So buddhi animated means like sunlight hits a glass and the glass enlightens the room. The glass has no light, so buddhi becomes animated. The moment buddhi becomes animated, you see all this is happening where? Buddhi is a plant seated in the avidya. The domain is avidya. Don't forget that. The sunlight comes in, the consciousness comes in, the awareness comes in. Buddhi is a sapling which is there. Immediately what comes out is ahankara. I. Of course, Shastra says between the buddhi and ahankara, although it happens, see, when you get up in the morning, for a fraction of a second, you just don't know where you are, who you are. If it is prolonged, then you got a problem. You got to go to the doctor. For a very subtle few seconds, nanoseconds, you are not yourself. That means you haven't got the vritti, you haven't got the ahankara. I am this. See the subtle gap between buddhi and ahankara, that gap is called Brahma Muhurtam. The sun is going to rise, not rising. The buddhi ahankara is going to rise, not rising it. When that state, if you can capture it, of course, there are some benefits. But the ahankara comes immediately. Why? Where is my bed? Where is my alarm clock? I hit the alarm clock. I want to go to sleep. So you started getting the mind comes in. The mind says, oh, I put my clock besides my head. The memory comes in. Chittam comes in. See, all that happens in a flash of a light. Buddhi, ahankara, manas, chittam, all this comes out. Remember, all these are innately inert objects, insentient objects. Then the brain gets activated. Neurons started working. Senses started working. Smell comes out. Ears can see, hear, eyes can see. The whole body is now animated. Now you see the world. Now, the question is, okay, all this process is understandable. Science has sorted out my gross part. It agrees with you. Things are not known immediately. Things are taking time. There's something called a pineal gland in your thing. The pineal gland it's a very amazing gland because it is the one which is unpaired in the brain. Unpaired means now everything in brain is so super intelligently done. It's got a pair. Each part of the brain will have a duplicate part somewhere else. But pineal gland is the only one which has no unpaired. It's only one. It's a master. And what does it do? It basically do this circadian rhythm. It just creates your body clock. How does it do the body clock? Okay, we go by the evidences of it. The medical science say, okay, it takes a light. Vedanta says light comes from inwardly and outwardly. Science only goes outward. That's fine. The outward light comes in. And from there, you see, also the important point is this. I read it many years back. This pineal gland has no connection with neurons, with other things. It's like a king, it's like a little cone there on its own, sitting there in the epithalamus, in the middle of your cranium. When you drill a hole from the top and hole from here, the joining point where it is sitting there. And what does it do? It is creating what's called melatonin. So melatonin is a kind of a substance hormone that gives you signals about the light. It computes your relative time. Where are you? Oh, my body, you are in the daytime. Or you are not only daytime. See, time and space are related. You are in the different time zone. You are in space, or you are in Chennai now, not in London. Yes. It gives you that, and therefore it tells you the other signaling systems, take appropriate action. Okay. So either get up or slow down. So it is only communicate with the rest of the brain with this melatonin creates a creation. But again, you look at it, this is just a gross part. But that light, how does it get the light and create this one? That power comes from the chit. So therefore, the problem for us, you will very easily understand if I tell you, if you ask you, okay, Dr. Mane, is you different from your wife? You will say, of course. She's my wife, but I'm different. Or if I ask you, is this your computer? Yes. Are you different from your computer? Of course I'm different from computer. I don't need Vedas to tell me. It is an object. When they come to me, is this you? If you touch me, is this you? I'll say, yeah, it's me. Are you sure it is you? Yes, I am. But when I'm dead, somebody's going to tell me, pick up his body. They won't say, take Raja's body. What's happening? Well, it is not me, it is my body, my mind. So we've gone through Vedanta. Therefore, we have a problem when it comes to us to differentiate, am I different from what I'm seeing? Everything outside my body, I can very easily say they are different. When it comes to my body and mind, I have a problem. But we are now learning Vedanta, therefore we understand, logically we understand. Because I tell the doctor, I'm not well. When I go to the doctor, I don't say I'm not well. I say, my hand hurts. And he can operate my hand, even amputate my hand if it need to be. I'm happy with this because it removes my pain. So I'm not gone. So we know there's a Viparita Jnanam, I and my are messed up. We live with this. We know it. I need to somehow use it. But when I go to Vedanta class, I will be very pure. It's my body, my mind. Otherwise, I am this person. That's fine. But if you stay with this, then your Asmita becomes muddled. Therefore, what you do not know, the drishyam, what is seen. Here use the word darshana. Darshana is the process of seeing, the power of seeing. What is seen, you are very easy to differentiate and put it aside. What we're confused about is the power of seeing, we get confused with. For example, if I tell you now, what am I seeing first? I'm seeing the computer, I'm seeing you. No, honestly, I'm seeing what? I'm seeing my glasses, I'm wearing a glass. But I ignore it. Why? Because I know the glass is just in between a media. Same way, my eye is a media. My brain is a media. My mind is a media. So therefore, all this is a media. So who is actual Drik, therefore? It's a Chit. That light, that awareness, that is a Drik, that is a Seer. Therefore, the Seer can never be seen. Because if a Seer is seen, then he's not a Seer anymore. Therefore, you can never see yourself. You can have 360-degree mirrors, but you cannot see yourself because you are the Seer. If you cannot see yourself, how can you see God? God is also like that. That's it. No, don't have the futile attempt that I will see God. God will come in this form. God will come in 4 hands. Well, he will come to you, but he'll come to you as what? As anatma, emityatva. Because in that plane, atma and anatma, there's no difference. Everything is God. Of course, you will see God, but you will see God in a form so that you understand the form that you see is mityatvam. Okay, we don't need to go there right now, but we talk to Asmita now. Therefore, the Asmita is therefore my incapacity to differentiate Drik from Drishyam, Drik from Darshan. You understand? So if I'm able to differentiate that, I will not say who I am as I'm saying right now. But I say who I am right now because I am not able to differentiate my darshan with the drig. I am speaking, therefore I am this person who is speaking. I am telling you, I am seeing you, If I am the person seeing you. So here you and I can have an educated foolishness that we know that this is a convenience sake, because if you study Vedanta and you go to the office and say, somebody asks you who you are, you can't just say, I am Atma, Shivogam, Shivogam. You can't say. You have to say who you are. But when you say that, I am saying it for the purpose of Vivakarika Satyam. So here, the Patanjali is saying, I'll just finish this sutra. So if you understand that one, now coming to the sutra is very easy. Drik darshana, so karyo, karma, asmita. So drik, the seer. So I don't need to explain now, you know it. The seer is the subject, the power of consciousness that you cannot see, because you are that. Hold on to this insight, because when we do have the opportunity to learn Upanishad or Tattvamasi or Aham Brahmasmi comes in, you are asked to realize yourself, to realize the God. The Jiveshwara Aikyam is there evident. What I cannot see, I cannot attain. So I cannot attain God. Attainment is what? Something other than me. I can only be God. Can I be part of God? Well, think that way is better than the other option. But if you're part of it, God is a component of parts. Cannot be components of part. If there are components of part, what it is? Ashuddhi. It is impure. If God cannot be part, and I cannot reach for God, I cannot attain God, I have to be God. That is Vidya. That is Sri Vidya. Now your Asmita is very different. Aham Brahmasmi is Asmita. We are not there yet. So we are in this world. So in the world point of view, my identity with my notional self, please don't get me wrong, we have to use this notional self. See, the trick is how you manage inadequacies, how you manage imperfection, how you manage falsehood. That is the only thing. If the life science, what is life science? What is the art of living? Art of living is how do you manage falsehood? How do you manage fear? How do you manage distress? How do you manage things which are not real? Because everything around us is unreal. So here, therefore, Drik is a seer. You cannot see it. Darshana covers both the Drishyam and the faculty. But here, Patanjali is always precise. He says the seeing, the instrument of power of seeing. That's awareness power and instrumental power. You and I just now learned they are different, right? You will not forget that. Since we know it, they are different. These two powers, Satyos, these two powers, Drik Shakti and Darshana Shakti, Ekatmat Eva. They are one and the same. If you think that, that is egoism. That is Asmita. You understand? So, no other example can be better for this. The Asmita, we have to live with Asmita. We have to have egoism on it. We have to say who we are. But it has to be in a kind of a aham bhavam. See, we also use the word aham bhavam very badly, ahamkaram very badly. Jiva bodham, say that way, okay? Vedanta word, jiva bodham. Jiva bodham is, I am this jiva. I am this personality carrying this buddhi, manas. That is fine. That is egoism. That happens because the power of seeing and the power of consciousness, we don't differentiate. We don't even differentiate thought from awareness. You know why? Because an awareness comes to you as a thought. This is an exercise for you until next week. If you really want to contemplate, try to contemplate your mind, what is the thought and what is an awareness of a thought. Knowing very well, the awareness of thought will come to you as a thought, inevitable. But there is a process that I am thinking. So same way here, this darshan of Shakti and Drik Shakti are convoluted into one, and that is Asmita. We are lucky we have some background on it. When we don't have this knowledge, we assume everything is us. I did it, I killed him, I won this, I conquered, I achieved. That becomes to a level of vanity, become pride. And there's a great pride and a greater fall. So we go there. Okay, let's stop it here. We take the Shanti part. Oh, Asadoma Sadgamaya.
Om Asatoma Satgamaya
Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya.
Namasoma Jyotirgamaya
Mrityoma Amardam Gamaya.
Mrityoma Amardam Gamaya.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Hari Om. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very enlightening. Very enlightening. Thank you.